Hi, I'm Angie Burgess, creator of the website breakingfamilypatterns.com, and we're here today interviewing Gary Stuart, international facilitator of the family constellation work founded by German-born Bert Hellinger, and Gary has been doing this for 10 years and is very well known here in Southern California. Gary, we're going to be talking today about this breaking family patterns method that has been around for about 3 decades in Europe,
yes,
but is just more recently coming into the United States. We'd like to know some real basic information, if you could tell us and give us a definition of something as simple as, what is a family pattern?
Great, absolutely. It's great to be here, and I'm very excited about your website informing parents and families about issues and patterns that need to be transformed. So basically, a family pattern would be, we all come from families, but sometimes there's unfinished business or trauma that occurred somewhere in the family system. It could be 1 generation ago, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. It's something that's incomplete, that's dragging down the current family system. Therefore, it's a negative pattern.
I see. So a negative pattern meaning that generation by generation, we are going to be subject to the family issues of our specific family members that came before us.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason it happens is because, say, our grandparents had a trauma, well, those little kids who endured the trauma ended up becoming our parents. And then they're carrying the trauma for the grandparents that couldn't complete it in their lifetime, so therefore it's passed down to us, the children's children of the grandparents. So there it's 3 generations already.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. So our issues of today very well may not be my own personal issues, but could be something energetically that I'm carrying for my parents, grandparents, or even great-grandparents.
Yes, yes, we find that over and over again.
My goodness. Well, how would you, can you give us an explanation? Is there an explanation of how this gets passed down through the generations?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. Number one, it might not have been safe to deal and process with what was going on. If we take one national example, like the Jewish Holocaust, how many people who were in concentration camps did not get to cry or grieve over their situation with Adolf Hitler, or a Nazi government exterminating people? They had to do whatever they had to do to survive. There was no time to process sadness or grief. Well, then you have American-born Jewish children who are carrying all that energy of the Holocaust, even though they weren't present during their grandparents' time there in World War II.
So let me kind of backtrack,
sure,
so I understand here,
yes,
and can get a really clear definition.
Mm-hmm.
That the family patterns that are showing up are not necessarily just limited to the family itself, but it could also be a cultural thing that gets passed down, a religious thing, a country, national
yes, yes.
issue.
Yeah, you could say that we all come from different nations on earth. My ancestors came from Scotland, some came from Ireland. How many of those people reacted to a potato famine where they had to leave Ireland? How many people came to Ellis Island from Italy, which my ancestors were Italian and Irish and Scottish, and as you're Italian as well? So how much of that fear do we carry? How much of that exclusion? They're excluded from their home country. They're coming to the new world for a better life or to survive. How many of those feelings did we inherit from them? Or the sadness from our ancestors in Europe who watched their children leave for the new world so they could survive better.
So let me say once again, so I get clear, is the unresolved issues the only things that get passed down, the things that didn't get dealt with at the particular time in that particular generation? It could be traumatic, unhappy, minor, major, but that it didn't get dealt with fully, and so energetically it is still in the family to be passed down to the next and newest generation.
Yes, absolutely. But what gets passed down, the great thing about constellation work is we get to go into the energetic field of what the original trauma was. So the client may come to us suffering from depression and say they have a Jewish background. Well, how many people in Auschwitz were depressed at their life situation or being
Sure.
exterminated, watching their relatives die with them in the same camp? And sure, it shows up maybe in a Jewish American as depression. Well, what are the roots of that depression? It is Treblinka. It is Auschwitz.
Oh my goodness, brings a whole new level and layer to be explored.
Absolutely, more than that, yes.
Wow. Thank you, Gary. This has been amazingly interesting. Thank
Absolutely.
You so much.
My pleasure.